Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Cinema Snobs VR cast. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Jake.
And we are here for the March episode 9, and we are doing cannibal films. You picked the theme last month, and then I picked the two films. So I've been meaning to show you Cannibal Holocaust for a while. It's been quite some time. It was a running joke when I was showing you guys movies that I would take a lot of social media pictures and say tonight's movie night, and you guys would be holding the Cannibal Holocaust box.
Really?
Do you remember that?
I didn't even know. I don't remember that.
I'm gonna have to find that picture. Maybe I'll throw it up here if I find
That's
it.
actually funny. That's actually funny.
Because this was just the movie that of all the stuff I would show you, I show my kids horror films, but I would never show them Cannibal Holocaust. And it just made it kind of like a taboo movie to show you. But you're 18 now. You've seen quite a bit of stuff. So yeah, we'll definitely get into the film, and also Cannibal Ferox was the complimentary to Cannibal Holocaust double feature that I'm sure has been showed millions of times. I don't know, maybe it's kind of cannibal overload, but I think they're a really good pairing because it shows you the differences between cinema and exploitation cinema. And some might say both of them are exploitation, but I beg to differ. Anyway, so let's talk about what we did in February. It was a busy month for me. How about you? Did you get a chance to watch much? Tell me what's been going on with you.
Well, I say this every single time, so I'm literally a broken record, but I mean it this time. This is the weakest month I've ever had since I started writing reviews on Letterboxd, and ever since I started tracking when I watched. So not the greatest month when we were talking about March.
No, February. Well, yeah, February and March. February and March.
Well, yeah, especially March. But I mean, it's been pretty good because I kicked off March with probably one of the best trilogies to ever exist, and the best trilogy to ever exist in Denmark, which is the Pusher trilogy by Nicholas Winding Refn, which honestly is like, if you're into gangster films of any sort, like violent gangster films or like intellectual gangster films, I mean, these films have them all because some of them are reckless and some of them are a little laid back. They all have great soundtracks, great acting. The way they're shot, they're like, the Dogme 95 movement in Denmark. It's like that whole independent kind of style where like everything's handheld and it's just Danish dudes trying to make good films. So I can always appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I probably told you this before, but after I saw Drive, because it was my first NW. What is his acronyms again? Or NWR, as he signs himself. My first NWR was Drive, and I was like, okay, I got to watch more. And of course, I knew about the Pusher series and trilogy. I just never got to them. But then I waited patiently for what was it?
Only God Forgives.
Only God Forgives, and then of course Neon Demon. I loved. And still, just never went back to the earlier stuff. So I definitely will. And you said high praise about them all. Is Bronson considered is that one of them? No, that's not one of them. Bronson.
I mean, it's not a Danish one, but it's technically.
It's not Danish?
I mean, it's an earlier one. No, Bronson's it's British.
All right, but it is Refn though. I mean, it's just he shot it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Pusher was basically like when he was just starting out and just doing stuff at home. And
the first Pusher was his debut. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the funny thing about Pusher 2 and 3, actually, just for some trivia, is he came to America to shoot. Well, he did another film after that called Bleeder, which I never seen, but I heard it's actually pretty good. But he did his third film with John Turturro. He did in America called Fear X. I actually watched it.
I heard
after I watched Pusher 2. Honestly, not a great film. Very, very dissatisfied with it, not gonna lie. But that film was such a major flop and disappointment that he made Pusher 2 and 3 just to make money off of the fact that he lost so much from Fear X. So 2 and 3 weren't even supposed to be made. Like, he said that he didn't want to do 2 and 3 just because they didn't need to exist, but he literally gave a reason for them to exist because they're so damn good.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, well, I'll definitely will get around to all this stuff. Looking
Yeah,
forward to his,
it's worth
his
it.
new stuff too. I heard he's working on something right now. He took a little course off, but went off course by doing some television, which I didn't really love. But um, I don't know. I think he's still got a lot of good films in him. It's just he seems to be
Well, he did
doing a
shoot
lot
that
of stuff.
Travis Scott concert movie or
Yeah, he's
whatever.
just doing a lot of like different stuff. I don't know. It's just like he's definitely in a tour where like when he's ready to make something that's speaking to him, he'll do it. So it's
Yeah, I
always
mean,
worth the
I'll
wait.
wait.
It's always worth the wait. All right. Anything
Yeah.
else that you wanted to mention besides those trip?
I mean, it's been a dry month. I'm gonna be honest. I've probably seen some great films. Oh, well, okay. I
Anything good?
watched Before Sunrise and Before Sunset. Those are actually really great.
Oh, another
Other than
series.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't see the third one yet though. But other than that, I've probably seen
Yeah.
some great films. I just can't think of any right now. But those
Yeah.
definitely are the highlights of this month.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
for me, it was Oscar month was February, so I kind of crammed in a lot of new stuff that were nominated. So I finally got to see The Brutalist, and
Oh,
and I know that you had to work, you couldn't make that, and it was only in the theaters. It never came to streaming yet, but
yeah,
Brutalist was definitely a well deserved nominee. I think they got it right for Best Picture being Anora,
yeah.
but Brutalist
Well,
was
I
definitely.
recently rewatched that actually late February.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I, I kind of haven't like we have access to watching it and it doesn't have subtitles, and I didn't go and
Yeah, I
rent it.
rented
You,
it.
you rented it, didn't you? I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just anxiously awaiting that box. That when that box the Criterion version comes out, which is going to be in April.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh
I'm
my god,
waiting.
yeah, I
I'm waiting
remember
for
that.
that, and then I'm just gonna watch it again. But I actually really want to watch it again right now. But I'm just like I said, I'm just gonna wait for the Blu-ray and get into. Hopefully, there's some good special features and stuff like that. But yeah, Brutalist stands out for the month. Another one was Companion, which I've been waiting to see. I really
Mhm.
like that. And I heard from some friends too that who were speaking highly of it, and I was like, "You like it?" And and I first started like the first setup of the movie and like the first 15-20 minutes. I was like, "Really? I don't know if I'm gonna like this," because it had kind of like that new school horror, just like this new school tone, where it's like, and the characters were very, you know, uh, woke and just like teenage writing. And I shouldn't say teenagers; they're adults. They're basically in their 20s. But I mean, just like the writing, it just seemed very, very kind of like amateurish. And I don't want to dog it because I liked it, but I mean, but then when it started showing its originality, when it started showing its story and like how the script really was original and just in locked me in. So then I just kind of roll with it. And then, it makes you realize that it's always about story because dialogue and just, um, just the kids of the time, whatever, the way people speak and everything. I mean, those are the things that I'm just kind of like growing out of, and you can just tell I'm getting older, and I'm like starting to notice those things now where it's aggravating me. I mean, I'm pretty open minded. I can roll with that, but now I know what it is. Give me a good script and a good story, and I don't care how you talk. I don't care how many characters there are. I don't know if there is, a character. There's a lot of woke characters and all this kind of stuff. Like I have no problem with all that stuff, but it's like it's when they shove it down your throat and then it's not even a good story. Makes it gives it a bad name. That's what it is. But no, it's not that. It's basically a good story will make me flow with anything. So anyway,
Yeah.
not to get into the movie too much because it does really have a twist and also a very early on. If you don't know anything about the movie, which I didn't even really know the whole concept of the film going in, and that made it fun. So I don't know if you looked into it at
I
all,
definitely wanna see it then.
but don't read
No, I
anything
really
about it.
didn't.
Yeah, don't read anything
Okay.
about it. I might even kind of blew it already, a kind of where it come what genre and just kind of like examples of other films. I might have said that, but anyway, even if you do know that, it's just really really well made, and I think you'll like that. So yeah, Companion was a good film that stood out to me. Also, finally got to see Vice Squad. Vice Squad was a 80s sleaze, Hollywood sleaze film. Um, and funny, the day I watched it, um, it was what's his name passed away. Oh God, it's killing me. Here it is. Here's my
Who,
brain
George
again.
Foreman?
No, no, no. The lead in that movie,
Who else
Wings
died?
Hauser. There, it finally came to me. Thank you, because sometimes when I freeze, I just freeze. But Wings Hauser, who was the lead in that film, you'll recognize this guy when you see him.
George Foreman.
He was. I don't think he's ever done films. He might have, but Wings
I
Hauser
mean,
was
that's
the
the
lead. He
recent
plays
person who died.
Ramrod, which is a pimp, and is
No, I heard of the name though.
one of his most notorious roles, and definitely, one of the sleaziest Hollywood prostitution, Hollywood Boulevard films. I expected to love it more than Angel, but still Angel stands out to me. And again, these films are all in that same category that like inspired Maxine. If you remember the tone of Maxine, the
Yeah.
Hollywood '80s, and so it's good music, good score. Um, just seeing Hollywood at its slimiest, it's a Vice Squad. It was definitely something I finally got off my what to watch list. So I was happy I saw it. Didn't love it, but like I said, I'm glad I finally got to it. So, all right, well, that's pretty much it. I guess we can take a quick break here, unless there's anything else you want to add to this conversation, and we'll just come back and come watch Cannibal Holocaust.
Uh,
Yeah, anything you
I
want
don't
to
know.
add?
I don't mean to rant, but like
Please.
Maxine, I don't mean to just like, because like Maxine, like I understand the tone because it was kind of like obviously an homage to like those sort of films, but like Maxine's like a freaking circle jerk for the '80s. It's like, oh my god, '80s, I love '80s, I love '80s. All the clothes, the music. Honestly, shut up. Like if you're
You're
gonna
right.
do that, like make it like good at least.
You're right.
You
Like, a
know,
lot of people.
I
I
mean,
mean, a lot of
Maxine
people
wasn't
didn't
even
like it.
that bad.
A lot of people didn't
Yeah.
like it. It was just that's what it was. It was the only thing about it
No,
was
no,
was its
you're right.
influences. Its influences. That was
You're
it.
right. You're right. Yeah, I mean, Maxine wasn't awful. I mean, that ending was awful, but the film holistically wasn't awful. But yeah, it was annoying. But that's all because I was thinking like, should I say that or does it seem too angry? But like, I heard Maxine and I just immediately wanted to call it a circle jerk. So I there
You
it
just had
is.
to say that. You just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
No, but it's funny because you are right. Like, it's number one. It wasn't Ty West. A fan. Most of his fans all say it. It's not their favorite. Even the X trilogy. Um,
Yeah.
but like I said, that's funny because that's what it did to me, was wanting me just to go watch what it was that he was jerking off about. Right? So it's kind of like
Yeah.
I wanted to see, like, okay, this is what you were trying to go for. Might as well just go watch those. You know. So that's
Yeah.
what instantly made me want to go watch Angel and the Class of '84 and like even like Valley Girl, just like any '80s movie that had shots in LA and Hollywood. I just love those movies, and Maxine just could have been better if it was just, again, story. Story, like, it's not just pleasing the suits and making that other trilogy and just don't rush it, but I don't know. So no, that's good you brought that up. That's cool. All right. So anyway, we will be right back, and we are going to cover Cannibal Holocaust. So we'll be right back after this break. Okay, welcome back to the Cinema Snobs VR cast, and we're going to start with the notorious, the one that goes all the way, Ruggero Deodato's Italian gore masterpiece, Cannibal Holocaust. So first of all, Jake, would you call it a masterpiece? Or what do you call it? I know you've been
No,
wanting
that's
to talk
far
about it.
fetched.
Far-fetched?
To call it a masterpiece is far fetched. But you know what? The reason why I found myself enjoying the film is truthfully just because of the controversy it gets and like call it like oh, it's trashy, it's violent, just be violent. Like, yeah, some scenes are like, okay, that didn't have to be that violent, but I'm not complaining. I mean, you know, you're in for freaking Cannibal Holocaust. Like, this is like 50 years later, so like, you can't complain about that anymore. Well, not
Yeah.
entirely. It's like almost 50 years later, 45 years later. But
Right.
like, you know, people can't complain about that kind of thing. So that's kind of in the past. But I would call it a good film. I mean, it truly is a good film. Except when I was going into this, Dad, I thought I was in for like something that's like, all right. I mean, this is Italy. Italy is truthfully a hit or miss. Like,
Mhm.
let's be honest. Like, there are some horrible Italian films, and then there are some really great ones. And once you hit 1980, this the good films in Italy got really scarce. So
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried for this one, but truthfully, I think Cannibal Holocaust is a good film because it kicks off with like a really beautiful score, like something unforgettable. I'd say
Oh yeah.
I got emotional during the opening. I was like, damn, like this film's really like doing something to me. Uh, and then
Mhm.
I kinda realized, I'm like, "Okay, it's a little corny, there's the dubbing," but I got over that really quickly once I realized that it was, like, truly a political and social commentary on, like, you know, not colonialism technically, but more like, what's the word? Like, westernization.
Yes.
You know how,
Yeah.
like, these people, like, they're just doing their own thing, they're kinda weird, they might eat people, they might have rivalries, but, like, they're not trying to do anything to us,
Yeah.
but, we kinda make enemies with them in the film, and then we're like, "Oh my god, now they're violent and eating us," like, you know what? These characters freaking deserved it. So, the bloodbath in this film, for the most part, besides for some, like, really, like, gnarly, unnecessary violence, like rape and stuff, like, yeah, that's always hard to watch, but, like, yeah, a lot of the cannibalism in this film, for the most part, was, like, not as grisly as it's promoted to be because these characters literally deserve it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
I
that
enjoyed watching.
and I think that's what makes it good is that, you know, obviously it took the sequel, not sequels, but other copycats and the ones to follow, Ferox being one of them, to like kind of ruin the originality of Cannibal Holocaust and just kind of like the social westernization, a theme like you're speaking about, which is totally right on.
Mm.
Um, because it needed that to make it good. Like it's if it was just gore for gore's sake and like Ferox did, then it wouldn't have really felt as justified. And it like the ending scene. I mean, I'm sure everyone, it's an old movie, saw it by at this point. Um, but like the ending, not scene, but the ending line, just like who are the real
The ending
cannibals?
line is amazing.
Who are the
Yeah.
real monsters? Basically, who is it? Us? And then like that shot up to the World Trade Center, which was creepy too. It's just kind of like, because then I remember the first time I saw it, I was just like, wow. And like, who are the real animals? And who are the real cannibals? And then he put the shot on the World Trade. It's like, and then I was like, I knew at the time who the real cannibals were, who the real animals were. It's like, it was just like, it
Al
just,
Qaeda.
yeah, yeah. It just like, just kind of like foreshadowing, like the enemy is is still, out there, and
Yeah.
that just hit me. I remember, thinking that when I first saw that ending shot. But no, but I'm just saying, like, the whole meaning and connection of the story was just why it is powerful. Yes, they deserved it. But like, if so many movies, so many horror movies today, even especially in the '80s when they had just gotten the copycats, were just nothing was justified. It was just like everyone was just throwaway characters to just get killed, and like, how good could we kill these people and show it.
Yeah,
So
of course.
that's what Deodato, and that's why I say it is a masterpiece, because Deodato, like, he gave the people what they wanted. He gave them the gore, he gave them the sex and the violence, and exploitation, which was spawned from like the Mondo films in Italy and stuff, just showing like how other countries and other societies and tribes and all these things, how they live. He showed all that, but he also just remembered to tell a story, and to make people connect and feel it. You know, like,
Yeah, but okay, most notably too, reminding me of that is, I think this film is good, but like the more you read, like, and this is the notorious part about the film, the more you read into, like the mannerisms on the set and stuff is like the message is so contradictory because like the way that the film is actually created just
That's
went
made.
against everything that it's advocating for. Because like
That's
you
great.
know all the animal cruelty stuff, like yeah, it's terrible. Some of it's hard to watch, but like that's not even the worst part. It's the way they exploited the people, like the natives, like they literally made them, or at least the tribal people, which they're natives.
Yeah.
But like the way they had them sit in the hut while it was burning down, I literally thought in my head while I was watching the film, like, damn, like they were really asked to stay in
Yeah.
there in the
It
hut,
probably
and
wasn't a
I was
very
thinking like, there's
controlled
no
fire.
way.
Yeah, it probably wasn't a
Yeah,
controlled
exactly.
fire.
It's like they probably some of them probably got like burned bad, like, and they were just like forced in there. I don't even know what the hell's
So
going
what you're
on.
saying? So what
So
you're
like,
saying is
I
like.
don't respect what happened on set.
So
Obviously,
what you're saying
I
is
think it's a good
Deodato
film.
was being hypocritical by,
Oh hell
who
yeah,
are the real monsters here? But he's like doing everything he can to make a film. He didn't care whose lives he hurt or exploited or
yeah,
kids even who were there obviously with their parents probably didn't know what the hell's going on. But I did hear stories like they never saw camera crews before. They never saw actors. They didn't even know what they
yeah,
were doing. And supposedly, and jumping forward to Eli Ross Green Inferno, they had the same thing. That the tribe that they used in that film was the same story, and that's like 50 years later,
are
or
you
not 50 years
serious?
later, whatever. How many years is that? 45. Um,
I'm like 40 roughly.
that that this film was made, and like they were still, yeah, they never saw film crews and all that stuff, and of course they peppered in some actors into the cast, even in Cannibal Holocaust. I was talking about Green Inferno, but they did have a couple that were real actors, you can tell, or not actors but just people that were like made to look like tribe people, but
Yeah.
most of them were real. They were a real tribe. I forgot the name of the tribe, but they were a real tribe. So anyway, yeah. I mean, what's another thing we could talk about is just just the animal killings. I mean, a lot of people were really really disturbed by that. There's actually a cut on the Blu-ray that you can watch without the animal killings because some people
Yeah,
will
I
just,
know. I chose the one with the animal killings.
yeah. I mean, but it's like it's just because at the time they were doing that for film, and they got in big trouble for it. Deodato almost went to
Yeah, but
prison.
there's like justified ones. Like the one in Apocalypse Now is notorious too, but like
Oh, right, right. Yeah,
that was like a clean kill. Like these kills are just like they capture the suffering on camera, which is like
yeah.
you know it's awful. Like I don't condone that obviously, but like there's literally worse parts about this film.
Like what?
You know, like morally, I mean.
Like, tell me what.
Not
Tell me
not
what the most immoral was. But
well, the way they exploited the people.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
And then the
and
girl.
the
There was
thing is, the
kids
weird thing
too.
is too. Yeah.
There was some young underage, obviously, in there who was.
Yeah, I mean, that's awful, but it's just the way that, it's the annoying thing is that like the film is about like, hey, don't exploit these people. They're just going about their business. But
Yeah, and
then
that's what
they exploit the
Deodato's
people who
doing.
are going about their business. Yeah, like it's a little concerning. And then of
You're right.
course like Lenzi's like, excuse me, but Lenzi's dumbass wanted to do the same exact thing for Ferox. Cause I don't know. Honestly, I have a love hate relationship with Lenzi. I don't know. I don't have a love
We'll
hate.
get into
I have a I
that.
have I don't know. I have a deal with and then hate relationship with Lenzi. So like, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, we'll get into
we'll
that.
get into Lindsay when we talk about that. So okay. Well, you know what? Everything's been said about this film. I'm sure if anyone's watching this and got this far with our show here, that you've either seen this film, so you're like, all right, what are these cartoon dudes talking about? Let's hear what they're talking about. So you've heard it all, but the concept of the show is, my son here is 18 years old. He's getting into cinema. He's seen just about everything, and so this is a show about a father who's letting his son experience cinema for the first time, and he experienced cannibal holocaust for the first time. So that alone should be kind of interesting to those who've seen this movie a million times. But my son here is saying it. He's right. He nailed the way it should be looked at now, which is exploitation is, this was the king of exploitation films. And One of the most notorious video nasties got banned, and rightly so. For no one should see this film at 10, 11, 12 years old, which was people were doing, in the 80s. Just so imagine that. But you're seeing it now with an adult mind, and you're saying that hey, you're noticing that the filmmaker was exploiting his way all the way through it, and you're completely right, and that's why he got a lot of shit for it. But on the other end, after all these years, it's a piece of cinema was made, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of stories about things that directors did to get what they had to get, and this is one of them that went all the way, and so well deserved. I don't know. So I met the guy. I met the man too. He didn't speak very good English, but I did meet him at a convention, and I also met the lead character in this film, and he was telling me about um, that he wouldn't do certain things. He didn't want to shoot. He was the first guy who was supposed to shoot the pig, and he didn't want to do it. And just telling me like how Deodato was like, he didn't say he's a tyrant, but he was just like a man who knew what he wanted. And if you signed up to do this film, you know what you're in for. But even when you're
I
on
mehan, that just
set,
sounds
you
like
don't feel
Italian
it.
guys at the time.
Yes, exactly. It's
Italian
just,
directors at the
even
time.
Kubrick had that,
Like
that
Fellini's like
reputation.
that, so
Oh yeah, that's exactly why I love Italian films
like
and
Europeans,
art.
actually. French were worse.
Yeah, but I love Italian art because those guys, they take everything they do seriously as art. And this is a great example of when it's like you hold a balance between exploitation and art. So I think for me, it's a 4-star. So what's your rating on this?
For me, it's 3.5. I
Really?
like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. It's like it's not.
Like, calling something a masterpiece but giving it 4 is, like, a little strange.
Well, I guess I'm just being nice to. Let's just say it's Deodato's masterpiece. It's not a
Yeah.
masterpiece of all cinema. It's Deodato's masterpiece, and usually, just to justify that term, when you say a masterpiece, that's how I think of it. It's like a director has this full slate of filmography of a lot of films. He's got to have one masterpiece out of what is his masterpiece out of his filmography, and I would say this is his. So, just to
Yeah.
clarify, it's his masterpiece, not a film masterpiece. Anyway, I'll stand by that. Okay, so we are going to come back now, and we're going to check out the next film, which is what, Jake? What is the film that
Cannibal Ferox.
Cannibal Ferox, which is the sleazier version of this film. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, and it's time for the Cannibal Holocaust sleazier cousin, Cannibal Ferox, directed by Umberto Lenzi, Jake's favorite filmmaker.
Oh my god.
No, it's okay. So you've seen some Lenzi. Let's talk Lenzi before we
Yeah.
get into it. What was your very first Lenzi? There wasn't
My
Eyeball,
first
was it?
Lenzi was, like, genuinely oh, hell no. No, my first Lenzi was genuinely a good one, Almost Human.
Okay, so it
And
was
then I
his
watched
mafia stuff, his
yeah.
Polizia
Yeah, and then I watched Syndicate Sadist, which is, like, an underrated film, truly. Like, I recommend it to people who just wanna see a Euro crime film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, still, these films are acquired taste, like, you have to get over the dubbing, you have to get over the cheesiness, but, like, once you do that, like, you realize, like, okay, stories aren't amazing, but, I mean, they're compelling, they're very watchable, and they're entertaining, so, for the most part, I liked Lenzi. I was like, "Wow, like, this guy's,
So you
like,
had a good start.
he's
You had a good
alright."
start.
Yeah. And then I watched the 3 other films in the no, it's not called Violent Streets.
Violent
What is it called?
Streets. Violent Streets.
No, not Violent Streets. I'm talking not his film Violent Streets. I'm talking about the box set by Severin.
Isn't that what it's called? Violent
No, that
Streets?
one's called Nah, it's called
I should know this. We should know this. But yeah, it's his box set with Thomas Milian. Um,
wait.
I'm telling you, it's Violent Streets. That's not one of the
I'm
films.
trying to look. Oh my god, my eyes are horrible. But you know what? I think it was Violent Street, so we're good.
That's the box set.
Yeah, maybe I just got it because that was the name of one of his films. But yeah, it is Violent Streets then. But yeah, so
Mhm.
everything was good, and then I seen Eyeball, and I was like, wow, this guy sucks. And then I watched Knife of Ice, and then I was like, wow, I hate this guy.
So
Or
his
no, I think it
Giallo.
was Knife of Ice, then Eyeball. Yeah, no, his Jollos are just like,
Yeah, his
not for me.
Giallos, I guess, were not for you. Well, I mean, as far as Eyeball is not a good film. No question about it.
No,
Eyeball
no.
is just charming, and it's got a red glove killer, and that's pretty much all you need. And
There's
it's
like
in
one good kill in that
Barcelona.
film. That's like,
It's in
yeah.
Barcelona. There's a
Maybe
good
watch it because we were
score.
in
I'd like the
Barcelona.
score. But
It's,
yeah,
the scores are freaking annoying, actually.
yeah, they're annoying.
That's no the
The
no, no,
score's
no, no,
annoying in
let me
this
rant.
Ferox too.
Yes, the freaking score in Ferox, whenever it goes back to New York, it's like
Yeah.
it's like
Dun,
I
dun,
don't even, I forgot how it goes.
dun, dun,
So
dun,
annoying.
dun,
I
dun,
hated it.
dun, 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 dun,
Yes,
dun, dun.
that's
Oh
it.
yeah, that's basically Walter Rosati is the composer, I think. No, God, who the hell is it? Oh my God, I should know this. I
I don't
put it on
know.
my mix. But anyway, Cannibal Ferox, yes, the score that's definitely Lenzi's jam. I mean, he had also. Didn't you notice it kind of had a vibe of also like New York Ripper, Fulci's New York Ripper? You know, kind of had that kind
I
of
don't remember the
tone.
music in that.
Oh, it was very much the same style. Very much the same style.
Mm.
Well, we didn't talk too much about Camel Holocaust score. We could have, but yeah. So anyway,
Oh,
obviously,
I did. I mean, it's amazing.
it didn't. Yeah, it didn't. Ferox did not bring any justice to the score as far as being similar to what Cannibal Holocaust did. But I did like the synth work. Did you notice like this creepy synth stuff in
Yeah.
Ferox's score?
Yeah.
So all that stuff was really cool.
Still, but like, okay, to speak on that is like, you know, Ferox. I know that Lenzi did another film, Eaten Alive, which was released in '80. Which,
Yeah.
you know, I don't even want to fact check myself, but I know I'm right. It definitely came after Cannibal Holocaust. I mean, I can't imagine Lenzi doing something like Eaten Alive before Holocaust. So
Oh
I
no,
kind of
no.
know I'm right there.
Yeah, no. He was.
Or
It
am I
was.
wrong?
It was after. In fact,
But it was during
oh,
the same
oh my
year.
God, I don't. You know what? Eaten Alive is not really a favorite of mine. I only seen it one time. I actually should rewatch it. But like, I don't know if it was before or after Ferox. It might. I know it was the
It
same year. I
No,
think it
no,
was the
no.
same
Eaten
year.
Alive was 1 year before Ferox.
So it was before Ferox. Wow, I'm surprised that. So in other words, he revisited the cannibal genre, like right after one after another. Like it's kind of like
He
he wanted.
probably did it
Like I want to do
at the
better.
same time.
I didn't do as good. I want to do better. Well, because
If this is better, then God bless his heart.
well, it's better as far as makeup. I mean, the visual effect, the makeup effects was amazing. Don't you think so? I mean, like I shouldn't say amazing, but like it was really
It's on and
daring.
off.
It was just very, very like going for it. Like let's just show this brutality, you know. And there was some good gory kills, you know, but it was not as top notch as Cannibal Holocaust, but it's just
Yeah, definitely.
they went for it, and like just the ideas, cutting off a dick, cutting off a scalp, you know, hanging a girl by her breast. I mean, it's like it's all in here. It's
Yeah.
all in here. There's a lot of really gory stuff in this movie.
I'd say the makeup is like some of it's actually pretty good. A lot of it isn't. But you know, the whole like cutting off the penis thing, which by the way, I don't think that looks good. But the idea of it is like it always hits you, you know, like as a
Oh yeah.
man. But like at the same time, how did that guy walk around the entire film with no penis? Like you would
Yes.
literally die.
Yeah.
You would literally die.
John Morgan, the late great John Morgan. Do you recognize that guy? You've seen him in
Yeah,
other
that dude
Einstein
was
stuff?
in City of the Living Dead.
Yeah, he's the one got drilled in the head, right? which you
Yeah, which
discussed.
by the way, let's talk about that. Why the hell was that dad justified for drilling his head just because he was with his daughter? What the hell did that mean?
Did that
Right?
make,
Like,
did,
you agree with me?
yes, did that make you think
Because
of like,
I literally
man,
said out
good,
loud.
and I
I
thought my
said
girlfriend's
out
dad was
loud. Exactly. Yeah.
like,
No,
like I was
that's
scared of
actually
my
funny.
girlfriend's
Yeah,
dad. Like that
that's
guy ain't
funny.
nothing.
That's actually funny. But like, I literally said out loud during that scene when the dad was like, "Oh, you're with my daughter," and then he grabs him, and then he's like, "Oh, he's gonna intimidate him with the drill." That's funny, and I'm like, "Whoa, this guy's gonna kill him for this?" And then
I
he
know.
kills him, and I literally said out loud, like, I swear, I'm in my room alone, and I was like, "How is that justified?" Like, I mean, whatever,
That's
but
Fulci. It doesn't
that's my
matter.
City of Living Dead. I didn't really enjoy that one as much as like The Beyond and
Man, that's right. We could have talked about
yeah,
all
and I
these.
also watched um uh what is it called? Don't Torture a Duckling. That was actually a solid film.
You got into all
But
kinds of Fulci you could have talked about in the beginning. But it's
yeah.
all good. No, there's no.
No,
We don't have to
I
stick
guess
to
so,
format.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, so yeah, the violence was definitely, that's another thing. Like, Lenzi is like, he was a character, man. He like talks shit about Argento. He talks shit about everybody, like. But he really just wanted to be them, and he was like jealous, so he wanted to outdo him. So obviously, this was him trying to outdo Fulci. Not necessarily Deodato. He was going for
And
what like
that's like
Fulci
the
did.
most popular he got too. That's like his like most famous film, Ferox, right?
Um, famous. Hmm. Yeah, probably, but like it's not known as one of his better ones. I mean,
Did he like ever get better than Almost Human? I don't think
I
he ever
didn't
did. I think I
really.
started with his
I
best.
actually liked. I know that I actually liked some of his early Giallo, like
Okay, yeah,
the
I'm sure
stuff from the
some of
Carol
those are
Baker.
actually
Yeah,
all
you
right.
saw Knife of Ice, which was a horrible first start. Like
Yeah.
you didn't see Paranoia or
Yeah, no, I heard those are all right.
yeah, like that. There's way better ones on that box set. You started with Knife of Ice, which was weird, but because I never saw it even. I didn't see that one yet. I just heard it was not that good. But no, I guess
Yeah, no, that was a bad
this is
option.
probably his most popular film because of the gore. The gore hounds love this one, but his most probably praised film was probably Almost Human. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and yeah, but he didn't really do too many like quality movies.
And he also did a film, I'm pretty sure, called Naples Armed to the Teeth.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He did a
I'm
lot
pretty
of
sure
really.
that one's actually all right too.
That's supposed to be. I haven't seen that one, but I didn't really get into too much of his crime Euro crime stuff. But a lot. There's still time. There's a lot more to get into. So I won't give up on him.
Oh,
Keep going, and you shouldn't. Yeah. If anything, if you really liked his Euro crime, then watch more of his then, because I think you'll like that. That's why I think he stood out and he kind of shined and
yeah,
showed that
yeah.
that's what he was meant to do. But he played with every genre. Um, I'm sure he did westerns, spaghetti westerns, but I don't think I've ever seen any.
He
I don't
did.
know.
He
Yeah,
did one with freaking what's the guy's name that played
Thomas Milian.
Django? You would know. No,
Oh,
no,
oh,
the guy that
Franco
played
Nero.
Django. Yeah, he did one with Franco Nero.
Hmm.
Uh, but anyways, just to speak on Ferox a little bit more, is like it's essentially Cannibal Holocaust,
Mm-hmm.
except the story has zero meaning to it, zero significance.
Yeah.
It does steal the whole idea of like, oh, Westernization. These people don't deserve this exploitation, but it's just not compelling because Lenzi obviously isn't all in that idea, and he just wants to one kill animals more brutally than Deodato did,
Yeah.
and two have more disturbing killings, which on paper are more disturbing, but like the way it's presented is just so like it's like shot so artlessly, like I don't know. Yeah, I don't like the way Lenzi's films are shot. Like those zooms, like dude, if I see another zoom, I swear to God, I'm gonna throw something at the TV.
My
Like
God.
sometimes these Italians, like they just zoom way too much. Like I'm so happy they dropped that whole thing. Zooms have been utilized like masterfully, like Sergio Leone, like when you have that crisp zoom. But like
Mhm.
this guy is like he's zooming like people do on like Snapchat and shit. Like just please stop. You know what I mean?
Wait till you get into Jess Franco. But
Oh God.
he's a little more artistic with it. But yeah, right. Like I said,
Yeah, I hope. I hope.
but Lenzi's funny you said it. But Lenzi's zoom is just like I said. It's like he was a copycat. He was just a copycat in every way. So like, and anything that was done for cinema's sake, Lenzi did it just for copying sake, not for even cinema's sake. And people who love Lenzi are gonna probably rip me for the saying that, but like, he was not a cinema. He was not an auteur,
Hell
filmmaker.
no, no
He
one is thinking
was.
he's an auteur.
Some people do, Jake. I'm telling you, some people do. They
I
consider
want to
him an
argue with them
auteur of
right now.
exploitation, auteur of of Italian cinema, but not necessarily in a Fellini sense. But just he would, like they might have even had. Wasn't there anything at Cinecittà? Was there anything about Lenzi there? You know how we saw like.
I really hope not.
Yeah, I think his name was somewhere in there.
I think they want to forget him.
Well, that's not fair. Like I said before, you really did have a bad start, and then seeing this one was also not good. But yeah, watch. I'm gonna have to have you watch some other stuff. And like I said, I didn't even watch too much of it. I didn't really watch too many of them. But the ones that are
but
good,
you know what?
you got to get to.
I'm really going too hard on Ferox, to be honest, because like, I didn't hate it. Like, I actually found it pretty entertaining in a way. Like, I didn't hate it as much as say like Eyeball or Knife of Ice. Like, those are films that were like bad and annoying to
Yeah,
watch.
they were hard to finish.
This one's just bad.
Right? They were
Yeah,
hard to finish.
exactly.
With this one
wasn't hard to finish.
Yeah, it was.
I was happy when it was over,
entertaining.
but I wasn't like, please end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, my rating for this one would still just be a low 2.5.
Okay. Yeah. For me, God, I would just say 3.5 out of enjoyment. But as a film, it really, it really is a.
I mean, it is kind of enjoyable.
It's a 2.5, but it's enjoyable. So, for me, that's about it. All right. Well, okay, cool. Well, there you go. So there's Cannibal Ferox, and we are going to talk about after this quick break what we're going to watch and what our theme is for next month. So we'll be right back. All right, so welcome back to Cinema Snobs VR Cast, and we are back to talk about what our theme is for next month. And I chose, but Jake picks the films, and I chose the films of Stanley Kubrick. And Jake picked 2 films, and what are those 2 films, Jake?
I chose Full Metal Jacket. My thought process there being that it's probably, even though I'm a huge 2001 fan, it's my favorite film ever. It's his most rewatchable film. Full Metal Jacket is, in my opinion. Not only because it's simpler, but also because it's shorter and more entertaining than a lot of his films. So like, I always find myself rewatching Full Metal Jacket. And then the second one I chose is A Clockwork Orange, just because like. I remember not going to the freshman homecoming and instead watching A Clockwork Orange, and like it was just a much better option.
All right, well let's watch the trailer of Clockwork Orange. Now this is funny because I pulled this trailer and it's like from the 4K remaster, and it's like an updated trailer, like a modern trailer. I'm sure I could have found the original, but I did like that this was kind of a cleaner version of the trailer. But I mean, what else? This movie is just freaking so cool. And I had a chance to go to the Kubrick Museum when he was touring, when he went to LA, and I was literally like taking pictures on the damn set of the Milk Bar. That they had like a whole replica set, and that was pretty cool. Right here. And I love how like a lot of his characters, he has the same characters. Like there's a guy from The Shining, I forgot his name, but he was also wasn't he in also in
Yeah,
Cause of Glory?
he. I think so. I don't know. He only used a few people like consistently.
Yeah, only a
You
few,
know,
but
like
he was pretty
he
loyal.
only used like big actors like once. Like he never used Jack Nicholson again.
Oh yeah, he never used leads. Like
He
he
never
never
used
reused
Ryan
the leads.
O'Neal again.
Yeah, but I love how he would get like famous actors, you know, or like well in this film he made Malcolm McDowell famous, but
Yeah.
he was not he had made
Well, Malcolm McDowell is actually famous beforehand.
yeah he made that film. God, what was the film he made where it was like
Oh,
Lucky
Lucky
Boy,
Man,
Oh
and
Lucky
also
Man.
If.
Yeah, those were
And
the ones. He
also,
was coming up in England, so Kubrick must have really liked him, saw him.
But this is his most famous film, hands down.
Yeah,
So
and
in a way, he kind of made him like popular around the world.
unfortunately, we got a chance to meet the man. We met him at the Days of Dead Horror Convention in Las Vegas. So yeah, can't wait to see that one again, and it's going to be really fun showing us on big screen. And then also, I'm glad you picked Full Metal Jacket because it's. In fact, I don't think I've ever saw this on the big screen. Number one, I didn't see it in a theater, but it's going to be cool watching it in big screen because it's pretty damn close to see it so big and clear. And I'm going to have the 4K rip for the screening too. Well, yeah, it was funny. The other day you caught me watching. I was watching Vision Quest with, and you were like, "Hey, that's Joker." I'm
Joker.
like, "Yeah." That he must have saw. I think this was after Vision Quest. So
Yeah, it is.
yeah, you would think that I don't know what it is, but Kubrick like if he sees something he likes you, you know, it doesn't matter what you made, and you could have made a crappy movie, but if he liked you, he'll use you. But I heard some stories on the
He just wanted like a youthful guy.
And he was, you know, probably the Hollywood up and coming. He could have probably used, you know, Kevin Bacon or, you know, at the time, you know, you name any young actor who could have got anything he wanted. But, so that must have been a great feeling for him for this guy to get chosen. What's his name again?
But Matthew Modine.
Matthew Modine.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure like Kubrick terrorized the hell out of him on set.
I was going to say, did you hear the story? This was one of his longest shoots, and they I guess Matthew Modine was on this movie for like over a year shooting, and he had like contracts. He had contracts with other movies that he had to like break deals with, and like it was way too demanding of a film, and that's kind of shit Kubrick got away with. Just amazing, but I would have to do a little more research on the history of the movie because there was definitely some drama on the set of this one. So maybe like when we show it on big screen, I'm going to show the special features too because I like to do that for people who hang out afterwards.
Yeah.
So anyway, that will be next month's screenings, and again, we do show these every Saturday night is the Cinema Snobs VR show, and I'm going to do a lot of Kubrick. I'm actually going to do Eyes Wide Shut as well, and I don't know, maybe I will do the Killing, you know, it's because it's the one I haven't seen yet, and I really
The Killing, Killer's Kiss, those are both very underrated.
I haven't seen everything yet, but we are going to talk Kubrick on the next show, so we'll see you in April. And anyway, anything else to add, Jake?
No.
Get a hold of you. Got anything coming out? You got some reviews? You're still writing reviews? Anything going on? Speak up.
No, but I'm gonna finish the Peanuts movie when we end this.
The Peanuts movie. All right. Well, remember that. Yeah, and you know, you don't have to just talk about what you like, but just talk about something you want to share. You know, like just what's something that caught your eye and your.
Oh, I rewatched the Diary of Wimpy Kid trilogy. Honestly, I never laughed out loud more in probably like the last year. Like, just really funny. Like,
and you've been watching.
I grew up with the films.
You've been watching.
No Shame, yeah.
You've been watching What's the one you guys were watching yesterday that you said you've been
The
watching?
Bad Grandpa.
Bad Grandpa. Yeah, see what a well-rounded son I've raised here. He likes everything, and that's what keeps you happy in life. So, all right. Well, we will catch you guys next month. Thanks for sharing. If you got to get a hold of us, you want to send a message, it's all right there on the screen. And we will see you next month for the Cinema Sounds VR cast. Take care.